This is Inside the Wolf's Den, an entrepreneurial journey with Shawn and Joni Wolfswinkle.
Welcome back to Inside the Wolf's Den with your hosts, Shawn and Joni Wolfswinkle. If you're watching on video, you're probably thinking like, what the heck are you doing in a bathtub recording a podcast episode? Well, to be honest with you, it's one of those late night ideas that I had like, oh, that'd be cool to record an episode in the bathtub. So here we are.
So Joni and I are celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary, and we're celebrating it here in Napa, California, and at the Caneros Resort and Spa. And they have a beautiful, they're like little casitas with
outdoor patio with a bathtub and fire pit and outdoor showers. It's amazing.
So we thought, hey, we're going to be recording a podcast on the valuable lessons that we've learned and the lessons we've learned along the way of 20 years of marriage. And we wanted to share our insights and lessons with all of you and what we've gained from 20 years of marriage. And so why not do it in a bathtub and celebrating each other? So you're here with us celebrating. And so
one of those spontaneous moments.
Yes.
Having fun with it.
But no, I mean, every one thing I wanted to mention was every couple's journey and path is different.
Mm-hmm.
And this, Joni and I are going to just share our lessons and insights that we've learned, but our path is very different than a lot of you. We've been together since we were 15 years old. So 27 years ago, we met in typing class in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we grew and built our business together and started from nothing and grew up, together and grew together. So and started a family. But that's not everybody's situation. So your path and your journey is going to be very different than ours, but we at least I think there's some takeaways that you can take away from Dave, what we've learned over 20 years. So let's celebrate.
Yes, right? Yeah.
So let's see if I can do this. To be honest with you, this is the second time we're recording all this. So this is the second time we recorded a whole episode, and then for some reason it didn't pick up any audio. So
don't put my eye.
This one went perfect last time.
Come on, Shawn. Use your muscles.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to 20 years. So, Shawn,
we made it.
We did.
We made it. Hold on.
So
cheers.
Cheers. Start us off.
Yeah. Well, so what I wanted to do is we created 10 talking points or 10 lessons that we've learned along the 20 years. And so we're going to go through all those together with you. And starting off with, I think every great relationship starts with communication.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear that that communication is key. And so get us started. What
I mean, I think it's it's kind of funny because the last two episodes that we recorded had to do with communication in business, right? But in relationships, it really is key to sustaining your relationship and growing together. I think at the very beginning, there were times where you would hold things from me because you didn't want to disappoint me or, stress me out, whether it was like financial, situation, whatever. But really, I communicated that I want to know the good and the bad, right? No matter what's going on.
Yeah. So so in the beginning, as a husband, and I'm very traditional. I've raised like in a traditional family, and I always felt like it was my responsibility to do the finances and handle our personal finances, business finances, and so I've always taken that obligation or task on. But there was times a lot of times in my marriage, especially in the beginning, where like I felt like I didn't want to burden Joni with that. I didn't want her to worry about it, and so I was like, I'm the protector. I'll help. I'll just figure it out and get through it. But what I realized was a lot of times that Joni, just sharing it with her, number one,
right.
She would, consult me, maybe just say, hey,
have a different point of view.
Yeah, just maybe just give me reassurance that we're headed in the right direction, or doing the right thing. But also, you'd have another point of view, or you'd say, hey, why don't we do this? And half of the time, it was the complete right idea.
Right.
And it's what we needed, and some I just didn't see. So I believe in communicating everything and being open and discussing, good times and bad times, celebrating the wins, but also be there and support
Absolutely.
Things aren't
I think it also strengthens your relationships because we talk about having the uncomfortable conversations, whether it's in your personal lives or your, business life, right? And having those uncomfortable conversations really kind of, it brings you together, and stretches you. So then that's how you grow as well.
Yeah. We always, something that we've always done since, like, I think we went to marriage counsel when we first got married, was the pastor was like, hey, okay, we're going to work on like our active listening skills. And some that we did was always repeat whatever we were going through at the time. And I think it's important because like for you, a lot of times you just want to be heard and you want me to acknowledge what you're saying in your opinion. And so a lot of times I just had to so Joni said something, I'd repeat it back and say, so what you're telling me is whatever. And just just doing that process.
And sometimes that's hard for men to really, because we talked about men really like to fix things, right? Instead of just listening to the spouse and, okay, like she just wants me to listen to her right now, right? And so that's sometimes hard for men to do that, because like by natural, you want to fix things. Like if you're bringing it up, then you want to fix things, right? And that's not what we need all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a separate point right down the road that we're going to talk about. Yeah. So, because I want to get into that. Let's save that thought before I go on. So the second one is point is compromise and flexibility, right? And compromising, right? And so this is not something I like to do, but and to be honest, of an amazing spouse for, I don't know, 15 years for sure. Joni always compromised. She was the one that really compromised in a lot of situations, decisions. And I appreciated that, all those years of really trusting me, respecting me, and just, and you had to do a lot of compromising, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in our relationship, I have sometimes ideas or opinions, and like whether or not you go through with my idea or you agree with, we're going to disagree all the time. We always, there's things that we disagree on, but I got to be okay with whatever decision that you make, right? Like you're the leader of our household. I have to be okay with that. And oftentimes it may or may not be the right decision, but at the end of the day, that's what we chose, and we learn from that together.
Correct. Yeah. So,
nobody blames each other for it.
Yeah. And it's something we've had to learn. This is something we've learned over the years, is just, and Joni does a good job of it, is she will, like, number one, it's my responsibility to, when we're making a decision, business, whatever, we're partners. So like, I have to come to her and get her opinion, shouldn't just make decisions based upon what's best for me. And I do it what's best, always with the intention of what's best for both of us, and always consult with her and go over. And a lot of times it's a common thing together. And then there's times though that she doesn't necessarily agree, or she may say, let's do it this way a little bit. I'm like, no, I really think this is the right way to go. And you've been pretty good at making, especially like in business, let me make that final decision. We'll run with it.
Right.
And if it bombs, she's really good at not throwing it back in my face and be like, see, I told you so. Or she's always been real supportive and said, hey, like, let's learn from it. Let's go and and move on to the next. And then there's times where if it's a great idea and it all works out, then, you give me credit and you acknowledge it and say, great job, babe. Like that. Thank you for doing that. And so I think it's important that spouses don't throw it back in each other's faces, and even be supportive, even if you thought it maybe wasn't the right decision. And you let me lead, which I think is important to us.
100%. Yep.
Teamwork. The third point is teamwork and partnership. The couples learn to work together and navigate life's challenges together as a team. And I think this is something that we've always really, really done well together since the beginning.
We started, part of it, like we were on the same page. We grew up together, so we had the same interests, the same goals, which made it easier, for us to work well together. But I do believe that as things got, busier and crazier, and when we had employees and started having kids, it's more work. Like you have to really, really work on, that partnership and that teamwork together, right? Making sure that you guys are still aligned and that you have your roles too, right?
And we've something that's helped us is, we get together. Joni and I will spend 3 to 4 days at the beginning of each year, at the end of each year. We'll reassess last year's goals and decisions and where we ended up as a family, but then also as business. And then we also plan next year and where we're headed and the goals. But we get aligned as so it's something you should do in business. Like we teach EOS, and we have
your quarterly and your annual meetings.
But we also do it on a personal level,
right,
as a couple, and like plan out our trips for the year, plan out our goals. Are we going to pay off debt? Are we going to put more towards retirement? Are we going to what trips and what are we doing with our family? What that's all planned ahead of time. And
revisiting our vision board, right? Having a vision board and having a common, like what are we striving for together, right? And revisiting that from time to time. Has things changed? Do we want to include things on our vision board, right? That we want to accomplish down the road. Same thing with family. We mentioned that before, and that's I think we started having the family boardroom meetings as well, because we want our family and our kids to be aligned with us as well.
Correct. So, but it's just getting that common vision, common unity, and hit it all in the same direction. You're all rowing. You and I are rowing in the same direction. There's times that
we get, kind of drift, right? Yeah. And then we come back. This is why we have these meetings, is to make sure that we are on the same page and we are realigned together.
Right. The fourth topic is acceptance and forgiveness. It's something I'm great at, and something you realize is that nobody's perfect, right? And no couple's perfect, and no individual's perfect, right? Except for maybe.
Well, Shawn thinks he's 95% right all the time, but again, I just have to accept it.
Like an asshole. No, you forgive a lot quicker than I do.
I do,
and this is.
But that's okay.
As a growing lesson for me, just as an individual, I've really had to learn how to, in my marriage, not hold resentment and not learn to forgive. And so and it's not easy. I mean, there's times I feel like I was hurt. I think Joni and I have both said some very mean things to each other over the last 20 years. Sometimes it's out of emotion, out of anger. And so we got to learn that, where the context of where that was coming from, but also talk through it and communicate about it.
Yeah. And take that time for yourself. I think there's times where all of us say things that we don't mean, right? Just because we're frustrated or anger in the moment.
Correct.
But really thinking about, let me take this moment, time out. That's kind of our keyword right there, time out, right? Let's all take a break to have time to think about it, and then come together and communicate that, because I think that we all get frustrated and angry at times, and you don't want to regret the things that you say or do. So
and you got to learn to just forgive, and something that I've had to do, and this is just for me, my spiritual walk is, I've always looked at it that if God or the Lord can forgive me for what I've done and the sins I commit, then why can't I forgive my wife, the one that's supposed to be the most important person here on earth? If he can forgive me for I've probably done way worse things, why can't I forgive her? And so that's what I've had to learn in the mindset shift there, and just so I don't hold resentment towards her for anything. So anything else on that one?
No, good. Keep going, Shawn. You're on a roll. I know what the next one is.
No, that's not that one. That's next. Next one is continual growth and personal development. So
that's huge for us. That really, it's something that you and I have always, made personal development a priority in our lives, right? And continuous growth and learning, whether it's in our personal, business, spiritual, physical. We're always
trying to better.
Ourselves.
So it's just that, that you've heard it many times, many podcasts, like the 1% rule. You're just trying to improve yourself. But we do it on a personal, our relationship, our spiritual walk, our physical, our taking care of ourselves. Everything. We're trying to constantly improve ourselves. Just everything we do, like what we eat, we're constantly trying to figure out ways to just be a little bit better and a little bit better each day. And I think it's important that you do that as a couple together, because if one person is focused on that and developing and
the other's not, then that's when you drift away.
Yeah, it causes a lot of conflict. And it just never leaves a good path.
Right.
And so we've always together got unity on that, and like, hey, let's focus on physical this year. Let's get a trainer. Let's do this. Or we focus on books we're going to read, or podcasts. We're constantly sharing podcasts with each other. Like, I got so much value out of this one. Listen to this one.
Right. Yeah.
So we kind of say do it together. What else was I going to say with that? Encourage each other. I think we try to do things together, where like pickleball or basketball, or there's things, sports or things you can do together to really, hobbies to better yourself.
And also that's a way for you to spend time with each other as well, right?
We're here in Napa. We took a wine class to better ourselves, so we could, be more, number one, talk more effectively on wine, and how different grapes and the smell and the aromas and the tannins and all this stuff to learn. And so these are just things that we're constantly wanting to get better and learn at. So developing each other. And this leads to our next point. It's because
Shawn's very passionate about this next one.
So the next one is sex and physical attraction.
Which really, this whole podcast, like, to be honest, it boils down to 4 major things.
What's those?
Men need sex and respect, and women need love and connection.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
So I think it's really important to number one is just because these are all things that we've learned that we think helps get you to 20 years, and hopefully gets us to 30 and 40 years down the road. And I think sex is important. I think number one is I'm married to an extremely attractive wife, right? Beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. But Joni works very hard also to maintain that. You work very hard working out and watching what you eat to stay attractive, or what you think I'm attracted to, and what it's important to her that I am constantly physically attracted to her. And then she does, like, if you know Joni and you see her, and it's funny because we'll get like guests that always know that when she shows up on like Zoom or something, she's going to be like dolled out to the nines, right? She wears heels every day, she wears dresses, but she also brings a sexual attraction to it because we work together. So I get to see her every day. I get to it excites me to see her every day, and hopefully it ends at the end of the day with some benefit to me. So if I play my cards right? So
we have actually KPIs when it comes to this.
We have sex KPIs. Yeah. So I think it's important. I think it's important to have sex 3 to 4 times a week. I think so. Yeah. So if she has,
ladies, it's simple. Just give them more sex.
6 to 7 times, you're super green. Yeah. 4 to 5 is green, and anything below that, it's not good. No bueno. It's yellow or red. No, but I think it's important, and I think it's important that you keep that attraction, you keep the spice, you keep, and South Bears and different things happen and people drift apart. And
I think it's important on not just, I think in both ways it is, right? And I think to keep it open, and you also work out, eat healthy, all of these things to keep yourself up as well. So
try to keep up, so testosterone, whatever it takes, right?
But you're right.
Yeah, but it matters.
It's important, and it matters.
And I think everybody should be, like, it goes back to the communication. I think in this topic too, you should be talking about it and keeping the spice and the intimacy and all that in your marriage. I think you should be talking about fantasies and what else did I put down? Your
Desires.
desires and passions, and communicate it.
What's your fantasy, Shawn? I know maybe that's probably a bad question right now.
It's probably for another podcast. The R-rated version.
Gotta keep it G right now. We're in a bathtub.
But like, for instance, what we're doing right now, right? I think it's important. Like, Joni and I plan out. Yes, we have family trips with our kids and do all that, but we plan out
time together.
Yeah. And time where her and I can just get away, whether it be just even in Houston, we'll get away. We'll go downtown for a night or two.
Too. I mean, I think, if you're not able to get away, just having that time scheduled in for your spouse, right? Like whether it's a date night during the week or, even like when the kids go to bed, right? Just having that one-on-one time to say, okay, the kids are in bed now. Like, let's just focus on us.
Correct.
And I think it comes down to like being where your feet are, being present and in the moment, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, right? And for us, I think that's one thing that we've always like really worked on. We're not perfect, but I think that we work on trying to be focused on each other and scheduling that quality time in, so that way we make sure that we get it in.
Correct. Get sex in. That's the key. Yeah. So hopefully
Yes.
take many trips. So hopefully you have lots of sex.
That's what it boils down to. Oh my gosh.
Next one, 6 is emotional support and empathy. It's something that I think I struggle with.
Just like men need the sex, the women need the emotional support and the empathy, and what we just talked about earlier is really listening to what we want, right? And not trying to fix everything. I think as men, they want to fix everything. They want to, all right, well, you're telling me this because you want me to fix this situation. Well, that's not what we're telling you, right? But I also understand that women have to communicate better and say, hey, you know what? I am not asking you to fix this. I am just simply venting, getting it off my chest. I want you to hear me out. I don't want you to try to fix it. And I think that's where in our relationship, we come, to know that, okay, that's my way of communicating to you that I just want you to listen to me right now.
Mm-hmm. So I think the big takeaway is there. It's just,
if
you can preface it before you start vomiting on us or divulging and everything, is say, hey, I'm just telling you this to I don't need you to fix it. I just want you to hear me and I just need to vent. A lot of times you just say, I'm just venting right now.
Yep.
And then I know, hey, she just wants me to be there to support, for empathy. She doesn't want me to fix it,
And for the husbands, like if we're not like communicating what we want out of that, I think for the husbands, it's the spouses, it's also important for you to say, are you telling me this because you want me to just give you support and hear you out? Or are you telling me this because you want my advice on how to fix this? Yeah.
Usually, that it always helps every time, rather than just going into right away fixing it and it just leads to issues or argument.
And it takes time too to like make that a habit, right? Because at the beginning it was like I was telling you that, and then you still wanted to go and fix it.
Because it's like, right? Why are you we don't even have to have this conversation. Here's the solution. Just why are we wasting energy and time on it?
It took like 7 to 10 times before you actually got it.
The next one is quality time and shared experiences, and that's what we're doing here. Spending quality time. We talked about it. Like Joni and I love. Trust me, we love spending time with our kids. Don't get me wrong, we love family trips and all that. But you need also time with just each other, and I think to really have a valuable and long-lasting marriage, you still have to have those things like dating again. Those moments where just you two and passion and because life can get so complicated with business and family and everything else going on in life, and it's just sometimes you just need that time to connect and just phones off. So whether it's just a date night and just dinner, sometimes it's just dinner, sometimes it's just in town. We'll get away and go stay at a hotel downtown and do something. And there's other times we take trips and and something that's worked for us, and it doesn't mean that this is everybody. Joni and I, when we talk about shared experiences, I mean, we work together. We our offices are right next door to each other. We do, I would say, 95% of life together, and we share in everything. That doesn't work for every couple. That's just our journey, and that's and it works for us. But we love to share every moment together, goods and the bad.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. And I think because we do work together, we 100% need that extra time for ourselves, because a lot of times couples that work together take it home with them at night, right? They take it home on the weekends with their family, and and we've really tried hard to not, but it's not always easy. And so taking the time away together really helps us to, kind of disengage from the day-to-day business, reconnect, realign, relook at our vision board. Like, where are we headed? Where do we want? And oftentimes when we go on trips like this, we're talking about those things on, where are we headed as a couple in the future? Right. And just creating those memories, those experiences, and living life to the fullest, and having fun in the process. Right. This is fun.
More sex.
The spontaneous bathtub episode has been fun.
And it doesn't always. So just like how I started this podcast off with telling you this is the second time we're recording this, because we didn't get any audio the first time around, and please pray it goes through this time. But
it's not always going to go as planned.
Correct. And I think that's the most important thing to marriage, is to understand is things are not always going to go as you planned.
Things, this morning we got up at 6 o'clock this morning, thought we were going to go on a hot air balloon, and the weather changed, but hey,
they canceled.
We put a smile on our face, went to breakfast, and
make the most of it, and then got in the hot tub, the bathtub.
This is the second time we're recording this episode.
So it's been an interesting morning, but that's what we've learned in marriage for us, is just trust me, we take a lot of punches just like everybody, and I think it's important that you just you learn to just same team. Yeah, as long as you're together, you're aligned, you know your teammates together in life, you can overcome all the adversities. And it's just and we have just as many adversities in life as any other couple. It's just we
stretch ourselves, we overcome those, and that's the thing, you're going to always have challenges, right? There's going to be challenges no matter what. And so, but we learned how to overcome those challenges, which as a result make us stronger as a relationship, but also as business owners as well.
Yeah. And as long as you come together. So every time we've had major adversity, lawsuits, strife in our marriage, or something, change,
brings us together.
We come together, we figure out, it unites us, and we figure out how to overcome this together. We're much better together as a team than individuals.
Yeah.
We figured that out a long time ago, but that together we make way better decisions as a unit, and we're on the same page trying to get to the same goal. Man, we're strong and almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
But when we try to do it individual wise, we struggle. And so it's coming together as a unit is really important. And then one of the things that came up, or I just thought about too, when we were talking about all that, I'm not a big fan of social media. If you notice, if you ever follow us or do anything, a lot of the posts come from Joni, and then I just get tagged in everything, or I'm the other guy on the other side of the camera taking a photo. But one of the reasons I don't care for it is because I feel like
it's fake.
Yeah. And I'll tell Joni it's a fake photo. Why she'll get mad at me, but it's the truth, because it's I just don't feel like, because couples can be fighting and upset each other, just had an argument, and then hey, we're in Napa, let's take a photo and act like, and it's on social, it looks like everything is peachy, and it's not, and that's not real. That's not reality. Everybody goes through ups and downs, and social media just wants to show you all the positive. Right. I just want you to,
and then it makes you compare yourself to others, and look at so and so, they're doing so good. I want to be like Shawn and Joni or whoever, right? And I mean, you have no clue what they're going through in their personal life. They're life can be shit, and
Yeah.
so just be careful with that. Ed Milet had a really good episode recently that I don't remember.
The name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It was good. And it talked about just that it just,
mhm.
we all go through issues. So don't just take it like a grain of salt. Like you're on your
This
own
is
journey.
your journey.
You go on your own path, your own journey, your own marriage,
Mhm.
and make the best of that. Don't compare yourself to what other people have or going, traveling, or what they're doing, or their marriage looks all great and yours isn't. Just work on you and what you can improve.
100%.
Um, Number 8, respect and appreciation. So this is something that I need a lot. Is I need Joni to respect me for what I do, what I bring,
And
value.
appreciate you for what you do. Oftentimes,
You can
I
tell
mean,
what we argue about
yeah,
all the time.
but
Yeah,
Shawn he loves to plan. He loves to get everything ready. And sometimes I take that for granted
Yeah.
and don't appreciate those things. And because we've been together for 27 years,
Yeah.
right? And so I think like you just over time, you're like, oh, like, why do I need to do it? But what I've learned is that I have to constantly appreciate you for what you do.
yeah. I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I control certain things, and it's just me. But so I like to do the planning and the doing it. But then I always make jokes because Joni's like, Joni just Joni just shows up, and she's like she doesn't realize it. Like she'll show up at an airport and there's somebody with our name. And the hotel's booked, and she just gets to just roll and just get in. Like she doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't click. Like somebody put all that together. You don't just doesn't just magically happen.
Shame you for that.
Yeah. So I do need
don't always say it, but again, this is a learning, journey, and not perfect, but
and I also at the same time need to show Joni and acknowledge what she brings to, and there's, as a mother, I know it's very difficult, and I know that mothers deal with a lot, and especially working mothers, everybody, all mothers, not just but
I think
if you're working, you gotta come home and you gotta worry about dinner and kids and laundry and all these things that go into it. You do a great job getting the kids to bed every night and in a structured time and all that, so that you and I can have intimate time afterward, like later every night. You make sure that their breakfast and everything's ready for them, and so they're ready for school, and like just appreciating the little things.
Appreciation goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, what do we got left?
Man, well, this has been a great episode.
Yeah. So we got 2 more. So number 9 is maintaining individual identities.
And I think sometimes this one could be tough, when maybe the other spouse isn't really into what the other's into, right? And like it's okay to have personal goals and ambitions, and the other spouse has to be okay with that.
Yeah. This has been a hard subject for us that we've really had to do some growth on the last 3 years, 4 years. So we've always been really, as a team, when it comes, we just focus on business and our family, and
everything that we did together, we pretty much had the same interests.
Correct. And then Joni really wanted to get into more coaching and teaching, or just mainly in speaking, and going to NARPM events and different types of events and speaking and doing all that. And also, and it was always justified because it helped build like our remote team member business. It allowed for growth and sales in that business.
But also allowed
it was easy, but you would sell it as like, well, hey, I'm growing our business. Like, well, I need to do this as part of I'm doing the sales. Yes, but there's also it was a struggle. And what I was we had to learn was that like both her and I's buckets were completely full time-wise, with the businesses, with family, with our marriage. And in order to put something else in that bucket or in that glass, something spilled out. Right. So like, what's going to spill out? And I'd rather than just not knowing what's going to spill out, being controlled. So if I'm going to put something in there, then I need to take something out first. And that's what we had to learn, correct?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's not always easy, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we still came together and said, okay, like, yes, I want to do this, but unless I can get rid of A or B, like I'm not going to be able to do that. Right. And that has definitely helped with our relationship. And because when I'm gone, it puts a lot of pressure on you.
Correct.
Right. Which puts a lot of pressure on the relationship. And so you have to really think about that. But I think that like my unique ability is building relationships, connecting with people. That's what gives me energy and is why I like to do it. Just like what, you have your unique ability. And so, and that's okay. As couples, you can have your own thing, but you just be cautious of not letting it go too far where it becomes a problem in your relationship.
Correct. And so like that instance where she loves to go to networking events and doing all of it, I'll do it. I can be energized. I can go.
You're not energized.
I can go and give my energy, and like and be fine. I'm not, but it's not something I enjoy, and it really, I come out of those exhausted, where she will come out of it energized, and so it's something we've had to learn, but at the same time, respect that, hey, if you go to an event that, I'm usually the one that has to take the kids to practice, getting ready for their homework, doing all this stuff. And so it's like, well, number one, appreciating and acknowledging what I'm doing to allow you. And then at the same time, I also, hey, thanks for helping our business. Thanks for helping it grow and doing all that. So I think it goes both ways. And what we've had to learn is also putting I think a lot of things is bumpers that we always say that, like, or curbs. Like, it's just so we can stay in those curves or stay in those, so we're aligned. So like for us, it works now that we had to learn, okay, hey, we can only do one event a month, maybe one traveling event a quarter, or, if we have certain,
and there's a scheduled in, and if it's not scheduled in,
it's no.
And that's, learning how to say no, is something that you might have to do more often. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit within our buckets, our spiritual relationship, all of that, then
because we have to
don't do
it. It's only so many events, or else it stresses us out and stresses me out, and then that's never good for us, and then it causes other problems. So just learning those boundaries.
Yeah, and I think it boils down to the main point number one when we talked about communication.
Yeah,
communication. All of this that we're talking about is just being better communicators.
Yeah. It's not hard. It's a lot of times it's through an argument, but coming together, understanding what's the root of it, what's really the, and sometimes it's hard to explain. Sometimes it's hard to understand where the individual's coming from, or why they're getting so upset about a certain, but you find the underneath, peel the onion back a little bit, you find what's really the root cause.
And you learn that from, asking questions, like really getting deeper into it, which I think sometimes, we just want to talk about surface things because you don't want it to blow up into an argument, or, it's a sore subject. Maybe, it's not something that you want to talk about at the time, but the more that you kind of suppress it, the worse it gets. So I think it's best to
gets more emotional. You got to watch,
communicate that, and ask the questions if you don't understand, right? And really, really dig deep into the root cause of why it's happening.
Yeah. Something else I was thinking about when you said all that too was, now I lost it. The root
that
cause.
Was me last time.
I know the root cause was I'm expressing it. Anyways, I lost it. It was a good point too.
It'll come back to you.
Anyways, and number 10, and our final point is love evolves and deepens over time. And we are not the same people we were 20 years ago. We don't have the same relationship we had 20 years ago. And it's way more, more complicated too, because you had family, you had business, there's so much more, right?
Yeah.
We're getting older. We don't
patience. I had a lot of patience with you early on. I don't have as much patience anymore. I'm learning that.
You just don't tolerate as much, and as you get older. And
you don't listen as much when you get older.
But I think the key to all this is that you learn to appreciate the journey, right? You just
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
uh, like today's a good example. We really want to do the hot air balloon. We planned all these things, and nothing
didn't
it
go
didn't go
perfect.
perfect. It didn't go perfect. We didn't. We were like, oh, cool. We'll record a podcast then. Do all that. Didn't record the audio. You just roll with it. And
Shawn forgot his wallet going to the wineries yesterday. You just roll with it.
oh, I think I threw the lady off so bad because she was off track and she was panicking. Her phone fell out of the cart in the middle of the street, broke it, shattered it, and so I think she was mad at me because I put her behind schedule. And anyways, it was. But hey, we roll with it. We had a fun time.
I smashed my finger yesterday.
You just drink more wine and all's good. But
Yeah.
no, really, just appreciate the journey. Appreciate where we all are, the path we are on.
Continue to create those memories.
Yeah.
Right. With each other, with
Yeah.
your family, your friends, all of it.
And just like a word of encouragement, if you need it out there too, it's just don't give up. I think keep working at it, and we all go through ups and downs, and just never give up and keep.
And there's always going to be challenges, so learn how to adapt and change and, conquer those challenges, and work together as a team to conquer their challenges.
Overcome them.
Yeah.
So, well, cheers.
Cheers to 20 years and
another 20. Here we come.
Yes.
And we appreciate all of you. Love you all for listening. Hopefully, you guys got something out of that, and whatever your journey you're on and your path. And we appreciate you joining us every week on our journey and what we share. And so we really appreciate everybody that listens. And we'll see everybody next week back in the studio in Houston.
Back in the studio. See you, everyone.
You've been listening to Inside the Wolf's Den, an entrepreneurial journey with Shawn and Joni Wolfswinkle. Tons of entrepreneurial podcasts are out there. Talking. But Joni and Shawn are living it every single day. Their portfolio now includes many franchises and medium-sized businesses. We talk about the trials and motivators of successfully running a business. Join us again soon for another podcast. But until then, reach out on the website at InsideTheWolfsDen.com, on Facebook at Inside the Wolf's Den, on Instagram at Inside the Wolf Den. We'll see you again soon. This is Inside the Wolf's Den. We'll see you next time.